They're pretty stinky.
Keep the socks, yeah.
Yeah. So we were going to a staff meeting, and I happened to meet the lady that did the laundry, and she says, I asked her what she was doing, and her name was Karen Gaddis, and she says, well, we're dyeing all the socks pink. At that point in time, we kind of laughed about it a little bit, and she told me the story. Joe came out of the restroom and told him about it, went in the staff meeting, and all of a sudden it escalated from, that's nothing, they're stealing pink shorts from us, white shorts and underwear.
Yeah.
And so that's how it started, the pink shorts.
And that's also where Tom started getting crossways with Joe. Someone came to him and told him that they were stealing the money, that someone in the sheriff's office was stealing thousands upon thousands of dollars. So Tom asked for an investigation. The sheriff went ballistic. And he told him finally, the second time Tom went back, he told him, he says, I'll take your gun, I'll take your badge, I'll take your car, and you'll be walking a beat in Gila Bend. He didn't want Tom near that because he knew that Tom would dig it up.
I don't want you down
Where
there.
is that money going?
Well, somebody's just walking by and helping himself.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what was happening, the same culprit that has been the nemesis of many sheriffs is David Hendershot. David Hendershot was in charge of the posse. David Hendershot was in charge of the pink shorts. I got 5 different deputies that contacted me and said, Chief, somebody's stealing the money. Would you start an investigation? Wow. My job was, I went into Joe thinking he would normally just say, Tom, start an investigation, see what was going on. Well, his answer startled me because of the fact that he says, I don't want you on that street. I don't even want you down there. And he says, you're just trying to get at Hendershot. I said, there's nothing I have to get at Hendershot. If he's guilty of something wrong, he'll get his.
He brought his name right up. He's kind of like...
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And what he threatened me, as my wife said, I'll have you walking a beat down in Gila Bend. And I don't take threats like that very easily. Okay. But at the same time, all I wanted was a legitimate, clean investigation. If somebody is stealing the money, man, shame on them.
This is law enforcement.
That's
is
right.
City officials, state
That's
officials.
Right. Yes. But we're talking about money that is coming into the sheriff's office that people think is being used for one purpose, and somebody is taking it from somebody. Yeah. So the sheriff, all he wanted, he demanded from me that I tell him who told me.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, Sheriff, I'll go to my grave before I'll ever tell anybody. Yeah. And so a few months later, I got another call from some other guys, and they asked me, what's ever happened? We've never heard of any investigation. And they reaffirmed there is $1 million
Serious?
That somebody is taking. And so, because the shorts were sold at $10 a piece all over, I had gone with Joe to a fundraiser type of thing for the Republican Party. And I had Adele and Joe's wife sitting there taking notes and selling pink shorts. But I said, document everyone that buys a pair of pink shorts, because obviously they're supporting Joe and his campaign here. And I want to know who they are. I'll contact them later and we'll get their vote and stuff like this. Joe found out that I had written everybody's name down, and he was furious. He took the list from me. Give me the list. He took it. And to this day, I thought it was a good public relations type of thing to do.
Right.
But he doesn't want a paper trail, and that's the thing.
No paper trail.
That's why you don't see it in his jails either. The abuse that goes on in his jails, you won't find a list of what goes on and who does what.
Nothing happens.
It's all a cover-up.
Yeah.
Ray, I have to tell you, and I got to get back to my son. I'm going to be up front with you. My son, after he went to prison to begin with, he didn't come out there a good boy. For 3 years, he didn't get in any trouble at all. One day we went to visit with him. Joe had made him, had told the Department of Corrections that he was a threat on his life, that I was a threat. They took my son, the maximum he should have been was at level 3. They put him at a 5-5 level. They identified it in the system as a gangbanger, that he was an Aryan Brotherhood, white supremacist. A black sergeant came to me and said, Chief, something's wrong here.
This guy's not.
I know your son. I've seen him in my jail, and he is not an Aryan Brotherhood. That will get him killed. That was their intention. That's what they tried to do.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And they did it on purpose. So after 3 years in prison, he said, Mom and Dad, you'll never see anything outside. But he raised up his shirt, and he is a fair-skinned kid. He was black and blue all over where they had beat him, black and blue. And he says, Mom and Dad, I had to join them. I had to do whatever they told me to do. They were going to kill me.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So he came out with that thought pattern. His agreement with them was, I will work, I'll pay for help your family, help your kids. I will do the things that you want me to do, but I will not get involved in violence with you. I'll do this and I'll work. And he came out of prison. He paid off his car debts. He bought a house. He got married. He had twins. 2 weeks after his twins were born, he was arrested in a raid. And the way things would go would be simply like this, because there's a task force within the county. All the sheriff or somebody would have to do is say, I hear that Tom and Adele are running guns in their church.
Right.
I hear that their son Patrick is a criminal. All of a sudden he becomes the subject of a criminal investigation, just like us. We had not committed a crime, right? So, to make a long story short, our son is on death row. My wife was laying next to me crying because of the fact that we couldn't do anything about it. It was out of our hands.
It's a complete frame-up.
We believe that.
Complete.
We believe
frame-up.
that.
I mean, the facts are there.
We believe
Yeah.
that. I believe that the judge even believes
The
that.
judge believed it. That, you know, when those people stood up, the jury stood up, and they gave him the verdict of death, there was not one dry eye in that courtroom. The recorders, they were crying. The judge was white. The deputies were crying because they told my son 2 weeks after, during the trial before it ended, they said, you know what, Patrick, pack your bags. You're going home. We see what's going on in that courtroom.
Yeah.
We see the lies coming out of those mouths. And we were floored. How could 13 people find him guilty?
Exactly. What
and,
went on there?
And what happened behind the scene?
Right.
Did you know today, usually after a trial, the people on the jury will say, oh, I want to talk about
They'll
this.
talk.
They'll talk.
Right.
Do you know not one of them will talk?
Someone
Not
contacted
one
me.
of them will talk.
That's gang. That's thug stuff.
Oh, yeah, it is thug stuff.
And
That's
there,
what happened.
There is something, and why would the county attorney and the sheriff try to get that same judge who, as I said, is a reputable judge? He's not known as a liberal judge. He's known as a conservative judge.
Yeah.
Why would they go after him? Why would they try to get this man
Because
this
it's going to
far?
be fair.
That's what we believe.
Yeah.
And you know, the sad part about it is we have to be very cautious of what we say. The last time we flew in, somebody, an attorney in this city, called me and said, Tom, I don't think you should come here.
You're not safe.
You're not safe because we understand you're going to be arrested.
Well, it's going out on the internet pretty darn quick, and we're going to get the story out there, you guys. We would really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I know how difficult this was, but thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
sharing this with us. Adele,
Thank you for giving
nice
us
to meet
that
you.
opportunity.
Dang it. Dang it. Thank you much.
All right. Well, thank you.